Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coming Out with Liz and Eddie. I'm Eddie Connor.
And I'm Liz Lyuth.
And this is our 5th episode. It's about magnetizing money. Over to you, Liz.
And this is about changing your old ideas and belief systems and structures so that you can reframe it and you can create the reality that you want for yourself.
What she said, and you're going to drop down into your heart chakra and your gut brain in order to magnetize that money. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Liz.
And join us every single week here on Coming Out with Liz and Eddie.
What he said.
Okay, I'm a firm believer that when it comes to the subject of money,
I like that.
I do too. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the subject of money, the moment you harmonize with the core essence of it, you have to attract it because it's universal law. I would like to see what your opinion is on what you feel as an intuitive. The number one biggest mistake is that people make when it comes to the subject of money.
Oh my God. I think that people are afraid of money. I think that people have established ideas and thought forms regarding money that they have no idea where it came from, that it just was there. And this goes into what I was talking to you about earlier, that I really feel that a lot of people's ideas in regards to money come from like a multi-generational background. It may have been your great-grandfather who lived through the Second World War, and so then they were without food, and then they have this, I don't want to say poverty consciousness. I don't want to say that because that's so overused.
It is overused. There's a reality to it.
But you're correct. There is a reality to that. Or it could be your father's ideas and thoughts that he impressed upon you growing up. So I feel that is one of the most difficult things that people have to deal with. It's a big challenge.
Do you think that, I think in essence what you're saying is oftentimes your beliefs about money or lack of can go back 5 generations or further before you're even born.
Oh, absolutely.
And so do you think the soul will sometimes choose to be born into a family that is in a state of poverty? Like you and I talk about this on previous podcasts.
Yes,
we talk about there are 2 frequencies. One's high, rich. It's a rich frequency. And we're not talking about monetary freedom rich. We're talking about rich and happy, joyous, connected, aligned, and just feeling good for the joy of feeling good. Appreciation is one of the richest frequencies on planet Earth. And then there's a second frequency, which is poverty.
Yes.
Not enough, lack of. So whenever
Fear. Don't you think it's all fear-based? Everything is fear-based. So when you talk about that, the first thing that comes up to that's fear.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to be without. I'm afraid that I'm going to lose it. I'm sure there are many very wealthy people who still have that fear. Mm-hmm. What if I lose it? Mm-hmm. What if I can't find it again? What if I mismanage it? What if somebody steals it from me?
Yeah.
They become paranoid.
Yes.
And I guess that's what you call the poverty consciousness. Even though for all intents and purposes and all appearances, you are wealthy. But again, on the other hand, you could be of meager means and simple needs and be the most wealthiest person in regards to prosperity. And you are at peace and happy. So we did talk about this too. Later on in the show, we're going to talk about the different forms that prosperity and it shows itself to you. The universe shows you different ways that it shows itself.
Yeah, I think there's the high frequency, rich thought, feeling frequency. There's the low frequency, poor thought, and there's a middle ground which is just vanilla. But even vanilla is a rich thought.
What if you don't like vanilla?
Everybody likes some vanilla if you throw some chocolate on it, with some nuts and some hot fudge.
Okay.
So it's the rich thought or poor thought.
Yes.
There's no in between. It's It's not that it's black or white, but it is that simple. So when we speak of poverty consciousness, it can be with anything, meaning poor consciousness.
Yes.
And I agree with you. I think it comes, one of the biggest mistakes we make is fear of. We use our imagination to fear lack of more than we use our imagination to focus on abundance of or harmony with.
So that draws to itself what we talked to before. What you think, you draw to yourself. So if you're afraid of being poor, if you're afraid of having lack of, then the universe says, okay, Johnny, I am going to give you exactly that. Your experience that you have will be this lack of.
Yes.
And so you will begin to draw to yourself these different experiences that will show you that you're getting exactly what you're thinking about.
100%.
Right?
Yes. Yep. I think the biggest mistake we innocently make with the desire for money is we but-tradict it. I think I call them money buts. But's an acronym for believing unnecessary thoughts.
You're so funny.
It's true. Thoughts that we use to scare ourselves unnecessarily when we really are here to hold the rich consciousness or prosperity consciousness or the love frequency even.
Exactly.
Pure love, not the way humans talk about love. Hold on, my spirit guides are calling.
Not the romance love.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you say necromance love? We're not going to talk about what you do on the weekend.
No, exactly.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
So we're talking about not the human kind of love vibration, because humans...
Not the romantic love.
Right, because they think it's good or bad, right or wrong, up or down.
Yeah.
And they think the same thing often about money. And sometimes money is a bad word, but when you money but yourself, you are literally sending out a rich, poor frequency. You're sending out two things. You're sending out the desire for it, but the fear of not having it.
So you're committing yourself to two different things at the same time.
And the universe, which loves you unconditionally, in the purest sense, is saying yes to having it and yes to not having it. So then the energy pulls like this, and then you get stuck in the rut of the money but, okay.
So then what happens is it manifests itself in a way that you just don't prefer. It doesn't come in the way that you envision because your feeling sense is still conflicted.
Yes. And you're getting the base of the conflicted, contradicted, asphalt money belief system. Yeah. Because we have the belief systems. And I love what Liz said in the very beginning. I know my soul picked what it picked. I know that.
Yeah.
And I also agree with what you said. Sometimes we can be poor, and we were, and not know that you're poor until somebody else points it out.
It tells you.
Yeah. For me, it was a teacher in elementary school.
Oh, yeah.
And she didn't tell me I was poor because my mama would have cut her. And because we were classy poor. She told the other teacher to not spend so much time with me because my parents worked in a textile mill, because we were trash. We lived in a trailer. And that's when I became cognizant of, wait a minute, there's something here that is going to impede me, even in elementary school, if I don't do something about it. So my modus operandi, my butus aspirandi, back in the day was I worked really, 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 really hard
I was going to say,
to get this much.
Yeah.
I fell right into the osmosis pattern of my mom, which is kill yourself at work, be seen and not heard, let your work speak for itself, life is unfair, keep your mouth shut and keep your nose to the grindstone. And I mimicked her beautifully. And I became the little mini-me of her under the guise of, if I want to be successful, if I want to be seen in the community as something more than what the teachers were already labeling me in elementary school, this was going to be the only way I would go from poverty mindset to prosperity mindset.
Yes.
And so I had to learn, which you talk about in the outline, I had to learn to step outside of the existing generational beliefs
Absolutely.
that work is the only way to attract money. Thank you. They just said this.
Excuse me.
Luckily for me, I believed at the time, and a belief is what? It's a habit of thought.
Yes.
That we think over and over and over. And every time we think a habit of thought, mine was, you have to work hard to earn the money.
Yeah, that's, yes.
So my habit of thought is, if I have to work hard to earn the money, lucky for me, it felt good to work hard.
Yes.
I loved working hard, and I felt like I was contributing, so that all the good stuff kept layering and compounding. And then I would attract a certain level of financial security, but never financial freedom, until I got into my 20s, then my 30s, 40s, and 50s, and learned the hard way that that work doesn't create your reality. Action doesn't create your reality. Busting your butt doesn't create your reality. Even treating everybody perfect and working, being the star employee, doesn't create your reality or monetary freedom experience. It is how you feel, how you think and feel along the way. And luckily, I was always asking the questions, how do I become more awake? How do I feel more good? How can I continue to summon life force energy in a way where I get to live out my purpose? And those things exploded my heart wide open.
Yeah.
And then I was working less physical hours, and then was starting to be compensated for it in bigger ways than I'd ever imagined, because my resistance was lower and lower and lower and lower. Every new thing I learned wasn't beating up and murdering the old beliefs. The old beliefs are still there for everybody. We never get rid of those beliefs. They just go and hibernate in a cave somewhere until we poke them with a stick going, are you still there? Are you still there? And we promise you they're still there.
Well, the great thing about it is you can break the chain of the old thought forms and the old structures, and you can reframe it for yourself so that you can now get rid of those old belief systems.
Yes.
And recapture the energy that you had given to these old thought forms and belief systems, and bring it back to yourself in a more positive and uplifting or a higher frequency.
Yes.
That's what you're doing.
That's exactly what you're doing.
So it's like a circle.
And you're doing it in a gingerly way. You're doing it in
Well, you want to be kind to yourself.
Boom.
You don't want to beat yourself up about, well, oh my God, this is what I did. What an idiot, blah, blah. Stop that. Be kind.
Not only that, I love it. That's one of the biggest things you're going to hear today. Be kind and gentle with yourself.
Yes.
Don't beat yourself up.
No.
And don't believe the lie that just because your parents didn't make it, you're not going to make it either. Or 5 generations of your history, or where you were born, or who raised you. That's all a lie.
It doesn't matter.
Because when you are born into the earth plane, you're still summoning the energy, but no one teaches us that we are. If anything, especially in the South, they squash you like a little bug. So what are some of the money beliefs? I'm going back to the outline. What are some of the money beliefs and habits of thought that we do say over and over and over? One of the things Jack Canfield said that his father would say to him all the time is like, who do you think I am, Rockefeller?
Yeah.
Every time the kids asked for things for school or new shoes or a bicycle, he would say, who do you think I am, Rockefeller?
Where do you think money comes from? Trees?
Yeah, money doesn't grow on trees.
You can't squeeze blood from a turnip.
That's right. There are starving
blood
children.
from a stone.
Yep. Turnips. In the South, it was turnips.
Oh, yeah.
In the Midwest, it was
father.
stones. Yeah, it is. There are all kinds of beliefs. You know what the number one thing is that stops our monetary ease from coming? The number one thought that we think, feel. Now, on this show, I'm going to say think, feel, as if it's one word, think hyphen feel, because you can't think a thought without feeling a feeling.
Exactly.
And so when you think, feel, the number one thing that stops your money is sentences like this. I am so tired. I am exhausted. I am worn out. There's not enough hours in the day. I am fried, dyed, and laid to the side. When you speak like that, how you feel from the thought feeling is deprivation, poverty, poor, not enough. And what does the universe do? It says, I love you unconditionally. Here's more things that match it. And then what else does your subconscious do? It sets it up to where your clients stop calling.
Yeah.
The work stops hiring. The people stop loaning you money. The banks shut down during a fear-demic. And then you end up with dead time because you accidentally felt a poverty thinking. So when I say accidentally, on our podcast coming out with Liz and who?
Edward.
And coming out with Eddie and who? Liz. So what we talk about with accidental self-sabotage, it is ASS-Fault disease, meaning we subconsciously sabotage all the time. So what we're wanting to help you with today is to purely speak, feel, think, feel, act, feel on the essence of freedom. Because that's ultimately what money brings. Peace of mind, freedom, ease, joy, relaxation. It brings the essence of every bit of that. And appreciation, gratitude, love, Thanksgiving, all of those feelings are high, pure energies. And when you feel them for longer than 17 seconds, as Abraham Hicks would say, you are purely aligned with 2,000 physical action hours worth of labor expended. So the beliefs are real. The old money beliefs are often contradicted. They're often ASS-Fault, meaning I accidentally self-sabotage my money beliefs by default. I BUT-tradict my money, which is I have bought into believing unnecessary thoughts that are not true. And I am loyally invested into them because they come from my parents. And I love my parents, which means I have to love every aspect of them, and you can and still not turn into them.
Again, it's habit.
It's habit of thought.
So if we want to break it simply, habits, old habits, we want to get rid of that. We want to reframe it. We want to put it into a new context. So everything you did before, there's no need to judge it. We don't want anybody to judge themselves for what they did before. That's just what it is. You know, you want to take it, you want to acknowledge it, and you want to reframe it.
Yeah.
And you want to visualize it in the way that you want so that you can receive and open yourself up to this amount of freedom. You probably, I can only guess that if it was like me, it took me a long time to understand what real freedom was in that way.
And what is real freedom for you in that way? Meaning, how does it feel in your heart gut?
You feel love. Love is the key. I know it sounds very, soppy or whatever. It's not. It's a very real, powerful energy that you can utilize to heal yourself.
100%.
To heal your body, to heal your mind, and to extend it out to other people. Right?
Yes. And you can't give it to other people if you don't have it inside. There is a term about your cup runneth over. You never want to extend yourself to anyone for any reason if your own cup doesn't runneth over and you don't have your own house clean in that certain area.
That's right.
And the reason for it is if you don't have it to give to yourself, you can't love somebody else if you don't like you. You can't help somebody else in a prosperous feeling way if you are feeling a negative deficit, poor me energy.
Yeah.
And if you're running around helping other people from that place, you're doing more harm to yourself than good. And this is all about follow. I'm loving this because Liz is using the term love, and she's using it from the universe's POV, which is unconditionality, joy, ease, no judgment. Because what happens when we judge anything? Do we feel good or bad?
Well, your frequency lowers.
Yeah. And you know why people judge other people? Because they think it makes them feel good to judge someone else they perceive as worse or ugly or as
than they are.
100%. And that is a double deprivation, poverty, disconnected from source energy. And you know what I saw the other day?
You tell me, Eddie.
On the way home from our podcast, a Ford Pinto.
I love Ford Pintos.
We were talking about Ford
My
Pintos.
favorite car was a Ford Pinto.
Well, your favorite car was a Ford Pinto.
Okay, let me explain. I came back to this country after living abroad for many years, and I hadn't been driving. My husband was driving. And so when I got back to this country, I wouldn't drive in that country that I was in. It was too crazy. And I got back here, and being from California, I've been driving since I was quite young. And so he gave me this little Ford Pinto station wagon, which I absolutely adored. And it never broke down.
What?
Never, ever. Well, probably there was like a rubber band and a propeller that made it go, but it was just never broke down. It was always reliable. I just adored that car. Betsy?
We have to watch our hands. I'm just realizing because these are still on the thing.
Okay.
So each time we do this is what we hear.
Oh, yeah.
Just be super careful.
Thank you.
Well, and this will be edited out anyway. So what you're really saying about the Ford... Oh, and so we're going to start again. It's what you're saying about the Ford Pinto is you loved it because it was freedom.
Yes.
It was yours.
Yes.
It was a gift.
Yes.
You had a sense of purpose.
Yes.
And you were tuned in, tapped in, turned on.
Yes.
You were summoning the life force energy that creates worlds. And even though it was running on rubber bands and paper clips, you didn't care.
I didn't
because
care.
it matched your whole essence for coming here.
And I was running around and so happy. And I remember we started a business at the time, and everything we did was successful. Everything.
Clicking.
And I rode around in that Pinto and I just adored it. I didn't care.
And just in case you're tuning in the year 2150 AD, when this podcast is evergreen for all of perpetuity, Ford Pintos have not been around since the 70s.
Yes.
And this is 2020 AD, the year of our Lord. Namaste. And after I left here in Los Angeles, California, on the way home, after we spoke about a Ford Pinto, I saw a brand new, perfectly painted, bright, burnt sienna orange Ford Pinto. And the left headlight was blinking like somebody had slapped it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And that's what we mean about we have no resistance to Ford Pintos. We have great stories about Ford Pintos. We have a prosperity consciousness about Ford Pintos, which is the opposite of asphalt money butts.
Yeah.
And on the way home, in less than 20 minutes from your home office to my home office, there's a Ford Pinto. And the reason we're sharing the story is because if the universe can bring me a freshly painted 1976 Ford Pinto in Los Angeles, California, in less than 20 minutes after filming a podcast, do you believe that the universe can also bring you prosperity consciousness if you get you out of your own way?
Absolutely.
See, that's absolutely ABSOUL, ootly. No. So let's talk about the subconscious mind just a little bit.
Okay. Yes. Let's do that. That's important.
Why do you feel the subconscious mind is important for our fabulous audience to be aware of from your personal experience?
The subconscious mind?
Yes.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Oh, say it again.
That's really
really good.
You really don't know what you don't know. Your subconscious is there. It's running you. And you don't know until you
know what you don't know.
But yeah, you don't know what you don't know. So it's like until you get to the point of being the watcher in which you can step out of yourself and you can observe yourself and what you're actually doing.
Yes.
So then that's when you become aware of your habits.
Yes.
And your motivations behind your movement. Does that make sense?
No, yes.
Yes.
Because it falls right in with what you just said. We don't know what we don't know.
No.
And I'm going to add to it. We don't know what we don't know to know.
Exactly.
Until we are living an experience that starts to feel like inequality or unfairness or imbalance. For me, it was I was working this hard and I was making this much money.
Yeah.
And then when it started to feel not right, then I did my homework.
Yes.
I did my research.
Yeah.
I educated myself, and I started taking workshops and classes. Then I realized I have the ability to create any kind of life that I want.
Absolutely.
And then the second that I became aware of that information, then what I didn't know that I didn't know that I knew, I became aware of it. And awareness is what? It is when you learn to look at money from a space of expanded consciousness, meaning not good, not bad, not right, not
Well, you're
wrong,
neutral.
not rich, not poor.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it high frequency. Neutral?
Well, basically, because the way I look at it, Edward, is like,
Yeah.
I was going to say the scale.
She loves to do that.
So I know there's like a scale. And it's so when you feel anxiety, let's say, for example, anxiety, at one end of the scale is fear. And at the other end of the scale is excitement. But the energy's the same. It's all the same there. So it's like you are the one giving it value and you're giving it quality. And that is what creates your experience.
So but it's what you think, feel that determines
Absolutely.
what part of the scale you tip.
Well, yes. Which one do you look to? Do you look to fear or do you look to excitement? Does that mean?
Totally, yeah.
That's exactly what you're saying. It's just,
And it's what you're saying too. See, we saying the same thing.
That's why we love each other.
That's right. Hercules.
Okay.
And so it is like where in the subconscious mind, since that's our topic, is we don't know that what we don't know to know.
Yes.
And once you become aware of it, for me, awareness is that aha freedom. It's literally.
But then it becomes a known. And that's your freedom.
But that's the aha. So it's like, aha.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I've expanded my knowing into greater awareness, which feels like an energetic, multiple orgasmic psychic combustion point. Okay, y'all, write that down because you might have one later. We're going to print up towels that say, coming out with Liz and Eddie for your energetic, multiple orgasmic financial freedom combustion points. As you have, that's why it doesn't feel.
Well, as long as you become aware of it,
boom.
Then that's where the freedom is, because then you can change it if you don't like it.
If you cannot like that you don't have money, but if you're not aware of why you don't have it, then you're going to continue to perpetuate the contradicted problem, and you will keep doing the same model of working this hard to make this much money, even though that what got you here will not get you there. That model will not ever get you to where you really want to be in your heart.
Because
it can't.
Unless you change your behavior. And where's your behavior being generated from? Your thoughts, your feelings. And that is what, say it again. What is it?
What?
Where is it being generated from?
What?
Think, feel.
Oh, think, feeling. Yeah,
right?
Sorry. I was paying attention. Don't judge me. Judging is a deficit. I was judging myself more than you could.
But after all of that, but that's where the goal is, because, and this is related to our previous podcast. It has like a little thread that runs through it and says, what you think and what you feel helps you manifest what you want to be your reality.
Right. And we think, feel, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. The whole purpose of the podcast is to help you become consciously, emotionally, in a feel-good way, aware of being able to have a better quality of life than you feel you currently do.
Exactly.
So as you become aware, like I became aware that I was dad-micking and mom-micking, mimicking my parents and their pattern. And it worked until about my mid-20s-ish to almost 30. And then I started studying Sanaya Roman, creating money, personal power through awareness, living with joy, all of that, because I wanted to understand. Even as children, didn't you feel that it didn't feel fair that everybody didn't have kind of an equal footing?
Well, honestly, no.
I right in the beginning.
I had no idea our economic, social level. It didn't affect me that way. I just never thought about it.
I could, as soon as I could.
I think when I was in my 20s, that was the only time it really came to me.
As soon as I could walk and talk, I could not for the life of me understand why people of color were treated different than us. I couldn't understand why people were killing themselves and starving to death. And other people were just vacationing around the world and had plenty. I immediately wanted to understand what the secret was to not having things, but to creating fairness and then helping people get to that fairness right away.
Yeah.
And that's what drove me. That's the root of my prosperity consciousness. I'm just having this realization as we're speaking. Your life purpose is your prosperity consciousness, your reason for living, your reason for coming to the planet, your reason for contributing back is 100% tied to your unconditionally loving purpose, what goes back to love, which is a prosperity consciousness. We don't do it for the money. We do it to enrich other people.
Yeah.
And when you enrich someone else, you're filled up. When your cup runneth over, that's when you connect to somebody else and lift them up. Because if you're not coming from that loving, enriched space inside, you are in a deficit, giving away more than you have to offer in order to get some kind of response from somebody else who might not be there yet.
Well, I think that you don't have it to give, period.
You don't. You think you do.
So basically, you're giving them nothing. That's it.
What you're giving them is your time that you don't have, your energy that you don't have, the resources you don't have, your emotionality that you don't have, and you keep going deeper and deeper into the hole energetically, vibrationally, and mentally, and then you get upset that they're not responding to you the way you want them to because you've exhausted your action and your words.
Exactly.
On top of not having an emotional reservoir in there. And so if you're at home and you're thinking, what the heck does any of that have to do about attracting money and magnetizing money to you? It has everything. It's not just money. It is a freedom frequency we're speaking about. It's not
Even
just
more,
love.
so, yes.
It is a self-love frequency, which brings plenty and enough in every category, in every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you're just tuning in, you're watching the podcast titled Coming Out with Liz and Eddie. I am Eddie Connor.
And I'm Liz Layu.
This is episode 5, and it's all about magnetizing money. And if you're just tuning in, we're just doing a little brief. We're going to do a tiny recap on the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, in every category, but especially money, is activated the second you take your first breath.
Yeah.
And the subconscious mind has no sense of humor. Every human has a subconscious mind, just as you have a conscious mind and a super conscious mind. The subconscious mind believes every word you tell it, everything you feel, every action you take, and everything you observe. Your subconscious mind takes everything you are doing as the word of God.
Absolutely.
And as the law of the land. Again, it has no sense of humor. It believes everything you tell it. The other thing with the subconscious mind is it doesn't feel. It just acts on the program. So if I am watching and observing everybody around me whenever I am from birth to 7 years old, this is where all of the power and the law happens with your subconscious mind. So from birth, really conception, until my 7th birthday, whatever it's your most highly programmable time in your entire human existence on planet Earth. So everything you see as the rule of the universe or the rule of God.
Yeah.
And so if you constantly see people complaining about money, not having enough money, somebody being frugal with money when the other children don't have enough, all of these things you are downloaded with. So your subconscious mind believes beyond a shadow of a doubt that if you don't work hard to earn the money, you will never have the money. And that is a lie. And you feel it to the core of your being.
Yes.
And the universe, which loves you unconditionally, will constantly say yes to every thought, feeling, and frequency that you think, feel, and emit out. So even when you're busting your butt, if you're feeling things aren't fair, you're sending the two signals we spoke about in the beginning that create a subconscious ASS-Fault disease. You're accidentally self-sabotaging by default.
Yeah.
I'm really working hard and this isn't fair. Well, the universe says, I love you, works harder and be less fair. And the energy gets stuck. And then we either become aware, as Liz said, you become aware of what you didn't know that you didn't know that you knew, and expand your awareness to that energetic multiple orgasmic combustion point place. So you magnetize a prosperity feeling in your love, money, career, home, family, body, friendships, everything. It affects,
This goes into something we talked about in that there are practical examples and outward forms of prosperity. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, right?
Yes.
And so we're going to give a few examples.
Yes. Like, so is this the 3 steps?
No, this is...
Oh, Lord.
No. This is actually, sorry.
It's all good.
We're all, oh yeah, no.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what we're going to do is give you 3 steps to becoming a successful money magnet.
Okay, you must ask for the money.
Did you hear that, people? So it is true, meaning we're constantly asking. We never not ask.
Yeah.
We eternally ask through our thoughts, our feelings, our observations. We are perpetually asking by what we know and what we don't know. We're perpetually asking in every aspect of our beingness, both physical and non-physical, subconscious, conscious, and through our superconsciousness. So one of the ways to clean up how to ask for what you want in magnetizing money, what kind of money? Low money or high money?
Well, I think that you need to just make sure that you're clear. You're clear on your energy and what you are and what you want.
And why do you want to be clear?
And you want to be clear because you're going to be asking the universe to deliver to you a clear response. If you, again, like we talked about earlier, if there's like a conflict.
Yes.
As Eddie was saying earlier in our podcast, if there's a conflict, then what you're going to receive is not a clear response. You're going to get something muddled.
Yes.
Correct? You're going to get something totally not exactly what you wanted. Maybe halfway what you wanted, but then the other half is not at all what you wanted.
100%.
And then in your mind, you're saying, this doesn't work.
And you're going to think it's not fair.
Exactly.
And you're going to think you weren't heard. And you're going to think it's non-physical's fault or responsibility for not bringing you. Listen, I went through all of that. I'm sure you did too.
Yeah.
And then it's like we constantly are working and evolving to clean it up. Up meaning high frequency and taking it to higher expanded awareness. So you must ask. These are the 3 steps to becoming a successful money magnet. There's a billion steps, but these are the basics. A lot of what we talk about are the basics because it's the root of everything. You can't write a novel if you don't know your ABCs.
And we only have a short amount of time to tell you. Well, I'm sure there'll be other episodes that we're going to be speaking about this.
We could do a whole 2 months of episodes on Get Your Money Freak On, Money in the Soul Conscious Mind, how to get yourself out your way, money butts, money freedom. Child, please, I'm getting all excited talking about this money butts.
Thing?
Well, I want to finish up with this. We must ask for the money, and how do we do it? You talked about on one of the previous shows, intention, meaning it's a form of asking. Yes. And what Liz is talking about is you must ask from a pure feeling space.
Yes.
And is your pure space different from mine or the same as mine?
I think it's different. Everyone's different.
Boom.
Everyone has their own, that's what I call the filter.
Yes.
You have to make sure and check in with yourself all the time what your filter is. This is what you see the world through.
Yes.
In order to act. So if your filter is dirty, it's just like if you're driving a car and your windshield's all dirty, how can you expect to get to the right place?
That's right.
Or without an accident.
Yep.
Even. I mean,
And you might get there, but why struggle? Why not pop the windshield wiper cleaning thing?
Exactly.
at going 75 miles an hour on the way over to the Liz and Eddie podcast when somebody's riding your tail and just
to the
splash
donut
water all
shop.
over. Yeah, we drive 75 miles an hour away from the donut shop. So one of the ways to ask is intention and observation. Whatever you're observing is a form
Yes.
of asking. So my favorite way to ask we talk about is appreciate asking.
Yes.
So whatever you appreciate, the cells, atoms, and molecules of your body are asking for more, 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 more. And you don't even have to diddle with the subconscious belief system or what you don't know that you don't know that you know.
Yeah,
We're so fabulous.
we are.
So number 2 is what?
Achieve harmony with money.
And what does that look like for you? And I'll tell you what it looks like for me.
Okay, what it looks like for me is peace. It's harmony. It is the essence of freedom. Everything matches. The way I look at it in my mind's eye, it's everything is a vibratory match to what it is that I want.
Yes.
And that's, again, I know you're going to get sick and tired of this frequency and energy and vibration, but it is so critical. And this is what we are as energy beings.
Yes.
You need to be aware of this. And so to me, your answer is an energetic match
Yes.
to what I want.
100%. And the harmony is becoming one with, we're just breaking it down.
Yeah.
What Liz is saying, we're breaking it down. So if this is your desire and this is the thing you do desire, which really never is money, by the way, it is the essence of
Yes.
abundance or the essence of freedom. So when you ask for it here, and this is the thing you're asking for, you want to harmonize with it, meaning make it one, not just in the head, not just with your actions. 99.99.9% of the time you want to harmonize with it in your heart brain or your gut brain or your heart mind or both. I think of these as like connected with a figure 8. The number 8, the top and the bottom, and 8 is infinity. It's eternal. It's perpetual. And anything you harmonize with, good or bad, you're going to get. Thank you. They're also saying we do use our imagination more to scare ourselves than we use it to create a happily ever after inner visualization or inner emotionalization in the gut brain. So number 3 out of the 3 steps to becoming a successful money magnet is hold the highest feeling essence of the money you want to magnetize. So I'm going to jump right down to, again, using the heart mind. And we're talking about using that rich, prosperous inner world. Think of your solar plexus for newbies. The solar plexus is a spiritual center in your digestive area. It's the top chakra of your 3 earthbound chakras. It also has to do with your self-esteem, self-confidence, and fight or flight. It's a bright yellow chakra.
It's also your power center.
Yes.
The solar plexus is your power center. If your power center is off, how can you generate the energy to accomplish what you need and to attract what you want in your life? So keep remembering that we are generators. We are generators of energy, all kinds of energy. And so
good and bad.
Yeah, good and bad.
And we first come into vogue with our solar plexus megaphone in that power center, that generator, between 2 and 3 years old. That's the first full year we live in that chakra, the first full year. And so by then you already know, you've already developed a belief system about money, love, the people around you, fairness, inequality, all of that you already know by then, but it's the first year you live in it. And so it is anything that feels good, meaning you can literally never speak the word money again for the rest of your life and make it your life purpose or mission to lock onto all things that feel good, all things that are beautiful, all things that feel like alignment, all things that are kind, all actions of grace, all aspects of non-physical that's unconditional loving. And you will have the richest, happiest life vibrationally, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and monetarily. I'm a firm believer in that.
Absolutely.
Because when you ask those things and you're grateful and you make a life choice and habit of looking at all things that feel beautiful to you personally through your filter. I love that you say that. the filter from the inside out, the universe is saying, oh, yes to clarity, yes to peace, yes to luxuriation, yes to purpose, yes to beauty, yes to enough, yes to plenty, yes to monetary ease, yes to enrichment. I'm a yes man.
Yes to,
we're going to have a yestercism in here today.
Yes to the perfect partner.
Yes.
Again,
see?
it's either they reflect itself in practical terms.
100% of the time. Oh, this is so good. So I'm going to do a little tiny recap. So the 3 steps to becoming a successful money magnet before we jump into some of these other forms. And then Liz is going to do an abbreviated guided meditation. Is that how I say it?
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
So number 1, you have to ask for anything, but the show is about magnetizing money and it's episode number 5. You have to ask. How do you ask? Through your thoughts, your mouth, your words, your feelings, and your action. So when you ask for ease or monetary enrichment, you're asking with how you feel. So it's important to feel good. And number 2 is achieving harmony with monetary ease. You can literally drop the word MONEY out of it. And number 3 is you hold the highest feeling essence of that freedom that you want to magnetize. And we just touched on that. It's like ease, beauty. Liz has a grandbaby. I know she don't look old enough to have one, okay? She has the beautiful grandbaby, and every time she's interacting with this child, her energy is enriched. It's high, it's fast, it's pure, it's off the chain. And that is the essence that brings financial freedom. It's the essence that brings love to you, that makes you happy from the what? Inside out, because that's how we create our reality.
And I can say too, and this is related to what you're saying, thank you, Edward. I love my grandson.
I know you do. See, she's shining.
But if you have a hard time in finding that energy to feel that center, to draw that to yourself, just remember a memory, an old memory, because again, as Eddie said, subconscious doesn't know.
It doesn't know the difference.
It does not know. It's like a person who is without memory, and he has everything to give to you in the world, but he needs you to direct it. So you're directing it.
Yes.
So just bring up that old memory and just remember it. That happiest memory you may have. Maybe it's your wedding day. Maybe it's a birthday party. Maybe it's the day that your husband, got down on his knees and asked you to marry him. Or you had that big apple pie you've been wanting from grandma forever.
See, we're back to vanilla ice cream.
Or that donut that it's 5 a.m. and you're going, oh, I gotta have that glazed donut, with coffee or whatever. But any of those memories can generate, as you are the generator, that feeling sense throughout your body. And it does, and all of your cells feel it. Your cells are affected by all of this.
And your subconscious mind, as Liz reiterated, does not know the difference between if you're really living it or not living it. Dr. Joe Dispenza was talking in one of his podcasts and one of his CDs that he tested, did a survey. A survey was taken with 100 people who walked and hiked every day for a month, and 100 people who did not walk or hike every day for a month, but they watched videos of people walking and hiking, or they visualized for 20 minutes a day themselves walking and hiking and re-accessing memories when they were walking, when they were hiking, when they were out in nature for 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, they tested and looked at everybody's bodies. The people who visualized walking and hiking and re-accessed the memories of walking and hiking, their bodies were the same as the 100 people that actually walked and hiked, because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. It's telling the trillions and trillions of cells in your body that you're actually doing it, and it takes it as the word of God. And speaking of that, I am. I am. It are the 2 most powerful words on planet Earth, because most of the time we use, when we're speaking to ourselves about ourselves, remember, there's a conscious Liz, there's a subconscious Liz, and there's a superconscious Liz. Anytime Liz or you or I say, I am so tired, girl, 3 times, tired, tired, tired.
Yeah.
And the energy is BUT-tradicted. It is a low frequency. It puts you in a poverty deficit vibration, and you block stop everything that you're actually wanting to create more of. So when you literally change that in your knowing that you know now what you know now, the new knowing that you now know, and you say, I am changing that pattern. I am changing that belief. I am choosing higher thoughts. I am choosing better memories.
Yeah.
I am accessing a higher imaginative platform just for the joy of it. Then you're letting the old you, poverty consciousness, hibernate in the cave, while the new you is taking baby steps up to the Mount Everest of energetic, multiple orgasmic combustion port, non-asphalt disease, non-BUT-tradicted frequencies.
Yeah.
Because that's how we play here on Coming Out with Liz and Eddie. We don't play. We
don't
play.
But also remember, like as you're doing this, once you become the watcher and the observer in your own life, you will begin to see a lot of changes happening.
In every category.
Every category.
And something Liz pointed out here in the outline, and we've talked about it, and we love sharing this because it's so true. When you only ask for money, and even if you ask for it purely, it doesn't mean that every single time the universe is going to bring you that lump of money.
Oh, no.
It literally means that you will start attracting things to you that enhance the quality of your life. On the outline, she's talking about prosperity can come in all kinds of forms and joyous ways that you could have never imagined or pretended. So when we first came out here, I was like, I would like to create $100,000 worth of free publicity.
Yeah.
Got on the biggest radio station in Los Angeles for 10 days.
Yeah.
And went back to North Carolina, packed up the truck, and moved to Beverly. And been out here for 26 years. So we didn't get the $100,000 to spend on PR. We received free PR from the biggest radio station for 10 days in Los Angeles.
You wanted it, you were clear about it, and you attracted it.
And my heart was in the right place, and I was not contradicting anything. One time I in my manifestation notebooks, I put new furniture in my living room and in my bedroom, and that I just let it go. And I am not kidding. Some friends of mine who have excellent taste were refurnishing their home and gave me the furniture in their living room, which was so classy, child, into my home. So I went from having a nice place to an extraordinarily nice place without spending a penny. And they just gifted it to me. I mean, things like this will happen over and over
again. And this, again, comes to a section that, we were talking about earlier with Eddie.
No, you call me Edward, child.
I always call him.
You should hear what she calls me whenever nobody's around.
Yeah. So these are practical examples and outward forms of prosperity that want to talk about. So prosperity is friendships.
Yes.
Unconventional friendships, right? People that you don't know will come into your life to assist you and help you. Again, helpers, right?
Yes.
And then what's the next one, Edward?
Love.
Yeah. So how can that come in your life?
And I would say play with the frequency and awareness of being more of the love that you are from your superconscious mind, which is tied to all that is, or the universe, that form of love. And there's lots of stuff we love, child.
That could be your love partner. It could be
nature,
your children.
It could be your grandchild.
Yes.
It could be doing things like this.
Or, friends that you didn't know that was coming into your life that help you. You could be traveling and then assistance there.
Yeah.
And then you become friends, right? That has happened many times. Good health.
Flat out.
Good health. Oh my God. Yeah.
Good health. Surprising gifts, which we spoke about for a little bit. That's one of the funnest things.
Okay, so tell me, what surprising gift did you get?
All expense paid trip to Peru.
Oh, amazing.
For 10 days.
Amazing.
Yeah.
First class.
I've done that too.
I love that.
Shelley Campbell, in her book, The Wealthy Spirit, is one of my favorite affirmations. I now receive free first class travel and accommodations all around the world.
Yes.
And I would just say it and say it. I've been bumped up to first class more times than you can even imagine at no expense, just bumped up. And one of the richest things you can do that also is making you a money magnet is to be kind to people. I have often been bumped up to first class.
I agree with you.
Because
1,000,000%.
I was treating the people on the other side of the counter in the terminal or at the rent-a-car place.
Yes.
I've gotten upgrades on rental cars
me too, absolutely.
more times than I can count. And I'm like, why? And they're like, you were the nicest person that I spoke to today. Or you must work in customer service yourself because you understand that it's not me giving you bad news. I'm the lay person. I'm the
exactly.
Yeah, you can't kill the messenger.
Or you're trying to resolve a problem.
Yes,
you're trying to fix something, and it's not the person on the other end. The person's trying to help you.
That's
and
right.
If you understand and you're grateful for their time, for helping you to resolve a problem that you have.
Yes.
Then it gets resolved and then some.
And then some.
That has happened to me many, many times.
And what I will do, I was sitting on a plane one time. Child, we have to do a Get You Travel Freak On show. I was sitting on an airplane. I had to go to New York to speak to my agency's clientele, and which my favorite because they're all singers, actors, and dancers. And then there's me. And we were sitting on the tarmac in Burbank in the summer. For 3.5 hours, we had just a tiny window to get from Burbank to Vegas to make it to New York by 8 in the morning, and my symposium was at 11.
Oh, Lord.
And everybody on the plane, they were going ballistic. They even took the little water bottles and opened it and were flinging the water at the flight attendants. I mean, they were unruly. No. So what did I do during that? Because we're empathic.
Yes.
And so to stay in a prosperity bubble, I put on my, yes, it was a Walkman, not earbuds.
That's okay. I have one too.
It was a Walkman with the headphones on it. And I pulled out my journal and I started writing down every wonderful flight I've ever had.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Every wonderful person who's ever helped me. Every rental car that was perfect. I started writing down things because when you think it, ink it.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're writing it, it becomes solid immediately to your subconscious mind. While simultaneously, I'm re-accessing every high frequency, wonderful, kind, thoughtful, sincere experience I had and merging with the people that helped me with it. And I'm doing that for 3.5 hours on a plane with no air conditioning in the summer. On the tarmac for 3.5 hours. And we took off. We got to Vegas. I was luckily at the front of the plane. I had a carry-on. I didn't have to have my checked bag.
I get that.
And I took off to where I needed to be. And I just asked someone, I said, please tell me exactly where I need to go for this. And he said, you're going to go here and here. And then this is what he did. He's like, you need to go here and here. Then he went. And he grabbed me by the shoulders and pulled me to the side. All of the mean, nasty people on the flight came barreling up like a herd of rhinoceros in the desert. And they were screaming at this guy. And what are I going to do? I'm going to sue you. I'm going to own this airline. They were horrible.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, oh, my God. And
he saved you.
He twice. He then said he gave them directions. And it was like a labyrinth in a Harry Potter movie, what he told them to do. And then they took off running. And I said, thank you so much. And he said, wait a minute. And he started punching in on his computer. And he said, here. And he handed me a ticket. And he said, I can always tell somebody who's worked in customer service. He said, I thank you. He said, you're going to like this seat so much better. And I said, thank you so much. I'm the guy who looks at a name tag. I call you by your name.
That's right. That's
because
right. Everywhere we went in Peru, you knew everybody's name.
You connection. And he's smiling. And I'm like, why are you smiling, dude? And then I said, so I need to go the way you told them to go. He said, no, you just go over there and take a right at that door. You'll be right at the gate. I went, but you told them. He said, I know what I told them. And I was like, thank you so much. And so I walked down, opened the door, get on the runway. I'm at the gate. I get on the plane. I am in first class.
I love it.
In a seat that has nobody beside of me. And right up front, and 10 minutes later, all of the mean, nasty, vampire, sucky, whiny, I'm going to own this airline people, all sweaty and hot, come barreling onto the plane like a herd of rhinoceros. And every one of them looked at me like, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, my God.
But it's the difference. It's frequency.
Yeah, it is.
That is how you magnetize money without ever having to magnetize the actual money. It's connection to source.
Yeah, and you're connecting to that person
who's
an extension of yourself, and he meets your energy. You are harmonizing with this man who just only wants to help you.
Yeah.
And he's being utilized by the universe to give you back what you want.
And I'm going to add this. That's so brilliant because what you helped me see just now intuitively is my energy was here. His energy was here to be of service, and everybody yelling and screaming and disconnected from source was vibrating here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he got to see and feel the contrast immediately.
Absolutely.
And he then rewarded the part that felt most like his personal way of connecting to people, which also covers what? Surprising gifts and unexpected vacations with joyous events.
And a joyous event.
Right?
Absolutely. It could be a birth of a child long awaited.
That's right.
Parents, you're meeting somebody you hadn't seen in a long time, or all of a sudden you get a phone call and it's, oh my God, you've just been thinking about this person you haven't seen in 20 years 30 years, or an old lover or an old friend, or, you reconnect and then, you forgot, why didn't we talk to each other?
Did you say old lover?
So these are all the outward signs. And, and I think that is there anything else that we could say about this, Edward? So it gives you the prosperity mindset.
Yes.
Is what we've been speaking about.
Flat out. It's not even about money.
No.
It's about the prosperity, heart set, mindset, gut set, frequency. That's really the beginning, middle, and end of it. If you can remember that, if you remember nothing from this podcast except for every time I feel grateful in my heart, every time I feel grateful in my mind or my gut brain for longer than 17 seconds, I have achieved prosperity consciousness, which means I am drawing to me things that money cannot buy.
Absolutely cannot buy. And that, all of these things are actual practical items that you can actually see with your eyes, and shows you that you've successfully changed your frequency and your energy, and it's showing you that you are going along the right way.
100%.
So,
and we're going to try something a little different we haven't done yet.
Yes.
So my friend Liz, because you're watching Coming Out with Liz and Eddie, I'm Eddie Connor.
And I'm Liz Lyuk.
It's episode 5. It's Magnetizing Money. And what Liz is going to share with you is an abbreviated guided meditation or technique where you can vibrate out the old beliefs very gently without judgment and vibrate in the new beliefs, the thoughts and the feelings and the frequencies that feel more like prosperity consciousness.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is a simple meditation that we have done before.
Yes.
And so I want you to sit down wherever you're at and clear your mind and breathe deeply, clearly, and allow yourself space. Turn off the TV, turn off the cell phone, turn off the radio, and give yourself space. If you're with a bunch of other people, because right now, we don't know where you're at, if you're locked down with a bunch of people or by yourself.
Yeah.
But if you can be by yourself in an area that feels comfortable for you, be comfortable.
Yeah, that's the key.
Exactly. So you want to visualize clearly what you want. What you want to draw to yourself. So visualize everything that you want. Add as much detail as you can. Whatever it is it a book? Is it a plane? Is it a check? Is it a family member coming to you that you haven't heard in a long time? Is it a resolution of an argument? do that. Just visualize and give it that detail. What are they wearing? How do they smell? How tall are they? If it's a partner that you're trying to bring to yourself. Secondly, and I want you to just breathe into that vision and visualize with all of your being. Secondly, I want to add something. Add color to that. That really helps a lot. Then secondly, you need to imbue that quality and value to your vision until you feel it. So give it that feeling sense that Eddie has talked about, that think and that feel. You want to feel and you want to give it that quality to your vision because it's yours until you feel it. And as you feel it, and let it be okay that you don't know what initially it feels like, but just feel whatever it is, even if it's new, and you keep feeling that. Keep feeling that for as long as you can. If some people it's for 1 minute, great. If it's for 10 minutes, wonderful. But keep feeling it for as long as you can. Remember, you're hitting up against these old habits and ideas and structures in regards to your former ideas about prosperity, and you're beginning to reframe them so that it's something that you want, that you know for a fact you are drawing to yourself. You're taking power over your own energy and your own thoughts, and you're bringing that to yourself. So this may take more than one time, and that's okay. Do this all in the spirit of love.
I like this.
I like you.
I like you. I love you. I love you.
I love you too.
I love you back.
And I love you all too.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we really do.
We do. It's our thing. This is what we love, love more than anything. So a quick recap. There's 3 steps to becoming a successful monetary freedom magnet. And the first one is you do have to ask for it. And you're not asking with just your words or actions at all. Mm-hmm. You are asking through intention. You're asking through observation, and you're asking through, I call it asking, or you're appreciating things that feel enriching to the soul.
Yeah.
And then you're attracting what you do want in a feel good way. Mm-hmm. The second one is achieving harmony with it, the essence of how that financial freedom feels and looks. And then you want to hold the highest feeling essence of that monetary freedom in your gut, your heart, and your mind.
That's right.
And you've been watching Coming Out with Eddie and... Oh.
That's right. Eddie and Liz and Eddie.
Oh, Lord. You've been watching Coming Out with Liz and Eddie. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Liz.
And thank you for tuning in to us with Magnetizing Money. And until we meet again, seriously, keep your thoughts, your feelings, and your frequencies high, fast, and pure so that you can unlock the universe within. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, you.
Thanks, you.
Holy shit balls.